Have you ever noticed how a day filled with social visits can leave you feeling more drained than delighted? If you've been wondering why your energy seems to take a nosedive after spending hours catching up with friends or family, you're not alone. Many people in their golden years find themselves grappling with this very issue, feeling exhausted after what should be joyful moments of connection. It's something I hear about often when talking to folks my age or older. I love seeing my grandkids, one friend told me recently, but by the end of the visit, all I want to do is collapse on the couch. Sound familiar? The truth is, as we grow older, our bodies and minds change in ways that make us more sensitive to overstimulation, even from things we genuinely enjoy. Studies show that while staying socially active is crucial for mental health and longevity, too much of it can backfire. For instance, research published in the journals of gerontology found that excessive social engagement can lead to increased stress levels and fatigue in older adults. This doesn't mean you need to isolate yourself, far from it, but understanding the balance between staying connected and giving yourself time to recharge is key. In today's video, we're going to explore why elderly people are often warned against packing their schedules with too many social visits. And trust me, there's a lot more to it than just needing a nap afterward. We'll dive into the science behind how aging affects our energy reserves, discuss some practical tips for managing social interactions without burning out, and share stories from real-life experiences that might resonate with you. By the end of this conversation, you'll walk away with actionable steps to maintain meaningful connections while also prioritizing your well-being. And stick around until the end, because the final tip might just surprise you. It certainly did for me. Before we get started, though, I want to make one thing crystal clear. This video is for informational purposes only and is based on publicly available research. Everyone's health is different, so always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your lifestyle, diet, or exercise routine. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works for one person may not work for another. With that said, let's jump right in. Let's start with the first habit that can completely change the way you feel every single day: pacing yourself. Think about how life was when you were younger. Back then, you could bounce from one event to the next without giving it a second thought. Fast forward to now, and even the most enjoyable activities can leave you feeling wiped out if they're packed too close together. That's because as we age, our bodies require more time to recover from physical, emotional, and mental exertion. A study conducted by the National Institute on Aging highlights how older adults experience slower recovery times due to natural declines in cellular repair processes. This means that while a busy weekend of visiting loved ones might have been invigorating decades ago, it could now drain your energy reserves faster than you realize. Take Margaret, for example, a vibrant woman in her late 70s who loves hosting family gatherings. She used to plan big Sunday dinners every week, inviting everyone she knew. While those events brought immense joy, they also left her physically and emotionally exhausted. After consulting with her doctor, Margaret decided to scale back to once a month instead of weekly dinners. Not only did this adjustment help her conserve energy, but it also made each gathering feel special and less overwhelming. Her secret? Spreading out her social commitments allowed her to savor the moments rather than dread the aftermath. If you're someone who thrives on being surrounded by others, scaling back might seem daunting at first. You might worry that cutting down on visits will make you feel lonely or disconnected. But here's the good news. Quality matters far more than quantity when it comes to social interaction. Research from Harvard University suggests that deep, meaningful conversations, even if they happen less frequently, can boost cognitive function and emotional well-being better than shallow, frequent exchanges. So instead of trying to fit everyone into your calendar, consider focusing on a few cherished relationships where you can truly connect. Now that we've covered these essential habits, let's move on to something just as important: how small daily changes can add years to your life. Because believe it or not, protecting your energy isn't just about avoiding burnout. It's also about creating space for the things that truly matter. Stay tuned, because we're just getting started. As we continue this conversation, let's talk about another important aspect of managing social visits: how overdoing it can impact your overall well-being. You might be thinking, but I love spending time with my friends and family. Isn't staying socially active supposed to be good for me? And you're absolutely right. It is. The benefits of social engagement are well documented. Studies from institutions like the Mayo Clinic show that maintaining strong social connections can lower the risk of depression, improve heart health, and even extend lifespan. But here's the catch: balance is everything. Too much of a good thing, even something as positive as socializing, can tip the scales in the wrong direction. Let's break it down a bit further. Have you ever noticed how being around large groups or having back-to-back visits can sometimes leave you feeling irritable or overwhelmed? That's because our brains process social interactions differently as we age. A study published in Psychology and Aging found that older adults tend to experience heightened emotional responses during prolonged social engagements. In simpler terms, what feels exciting and stimulating at first can quickly become draining if it goes on too long. It's not just about physical exhaustion, it's also about mental fatigue. Your brain has to work harder to keep up with conversations, remember names, interpret social cues, and manage emotions, all of which require energy. I'll never forget the story of my neighbor, Helen. She was always the life of the party, attending book clubs, church events, and coffee mornings multiple times a week. On the surface, she seemed to have it all figured out. But one day, she confided in me that she'd been struggling with headaches, trouble sleeping, and even moments of irritability after her busy days. At first, she thought it was just part of aging, but her doctor pointed out that her packed social schedule might be contributing to her symptoms. Together, they came up with a plan. Helen started spacing out her activities and setting clear boundaries. She began saying no to some invitations without guilt, and instead focused on quality over quantity. The result? Her energy levels improved, and she felt more present during the events she did attend. "It's like I'm finally enjoying my social life again," she told me. "And I don't feel guilty about taking breaks." Now you might be wondering, how do I know when enough is enough? Great question. One helpful strategy is to tune into your body's signals. Pay attention to how you feel before, during, and after social visits. Are you excited and energized, or are you dreading the event beforehand and feeling wiped out afterward? These cues can guide you in finding the right balance. Another practical tip is to set limits ahead of time. For example, if you're hosting a family dinner, consider making it a shorter visit, say, 2 hours instead of an entire afternoon. Or if you're attending an event, give yourself permission to leave early if you start feeling tired. Remember, it's okay to prioritize your needs. Saying no doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're taking care of yourself so you can continue showing up for the people who matter most. Speaking of showing up, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about how small daily changes can amplify the benefits of balanced social interaction. Imagine this. What if you could enhance your energy levels and mood simply by tweaking a few habits outside of your social calendar? Research from the University of California, Berkeley suggests that incorporating mindfulness practices, like deep breathing or meditation, can help reduce stress and increase resilience, making it easier to handle social engagements without feeling overwhelmed. Even spending 10 minutes a day practicing gratitude has been shown to boost emotional well-being and foster stronger relationships. Think about it. When you approach social interactions from a place of calm and positivity, those moments become richer and more fulfilling. Let me share a personal story that illustrates this point. A few years ago, I decided to try journaling every evening before bed. I'd write down 3 things I was grateful for that day and reflect on any meaningful conversations I'd had. At first, it felt a little silly, like I was writing stuff that didn't need to be written, but over time, I noticed something interesting. Those reflections helped me savor the joy of connecting with others, even if the interactions were brief. It also gave me clarity about which relationships truly brought me happiness and which ones left me feeling drained. This simple practice transformed the way I approached my social life, allowing me to focus on what really mattered. Now that we've covered movement and brain health, let's talk about something just as important: nutrition and how it impacts long-term well-being. Because believe it or not, what you eat plays a huge role in how you feel during and after social visits. Foods rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and lean proteins can provide sustained energy and support cognitive function, helping you stay sharp and engaged during conversations. On the flip side, Sugary snacks or heavy meals can lead to energy crashes that leave you feeling sluggish and irritable. So now that you know these powerful daily habits, let's move on to something even more important: how to stay motivated and overcome common aging challenges. Stick around, because the best is yet to come. Now that we've talked about pacing yourself, tuning into your body's signals, and incorporating small daily habits to boost your energy, let's dive into some practical ways to navigate the challenges that come with managing social visits as you age. Because let's face it, aging brings its own set of hurdles, whether it's dealing with physical discomfort, fluctuating energy levels, or even self-doubt about how much you can handle. But here's the good news: these challenges don't have to define your social life. With a few thoughtful adjustments, you can continue enjoying meaningful connections without sacrificing your well-being. One common struggle I hear from people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond is this nagging feeling of guilt when they decline invitations or step back from overly demanding social commitments. "I don't want to disappoint anyone," they often say. If that resonates with you, I want you to hear this loud and clear. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. Think of it this way: when you protect your energy, you're not just doing it for yourself. You're ensuring that you'll be able to show up fully for the people you love. A study from the University of Michigan found that older adults who prioritize rest and recovery alongside social engagement report higher satisfaction in their relationships. Why? Because they're present and engaged during those moments, rather than distracted by fatigue or stress. Let me share a story about Paul, a man who didn't start prioritizing his energy until he hit a breaking point. Paul was in his early 70s and prided himself on being the go-to guy in his circle of friends. Whether it was organizing outings, hosting holiday dinners, or simply being available for coffee chats, he said yes to everything. But over time, the weight of his commitments began to take a toll. He started experiencing chronic pain in his knees, trouble focusing during conversations, and even bouts of irritability that were unlike him. It wasn't until he confided in his doctor that he realized he'd been spreading himself too thin. Together, they came up with a plan. Paul would scale back his activities, delegate tasks, like asking his kids to co-host family gatherings, and schedule regular me time into his week. Within months, he noticed a dramatic improvement, not just in his physical health, but in his relationships too. "I feel like I'm actually connecting with people now," he told me. "Instead of rushing through conversations because I'm exhausted, I can really listen and be there." Paul's story reminds us that aging doesn't mean giving up the things we love. It means finding smarter ways to enjoy them. And one of the smartest tools you can use is communication. Being open with your loved ones about your needs can make a world of difference. For instance, if you know a long visit will leave you drained, let your guests know ahead of time that you're looking forward to seeing them, but may need to keep things short. Most people will understand and appreciate that you're being honest. On the flip side, if someone invites you to an event that feels overwhelming, it's perfectly okay to suggest an alternative. Maybe instead of attending a crowded party, you propose meeting for a quiet lunch or a walk in the park. These small tweaks can help preserve your energy while still nurturing your relationships. Another powerful strategy is leaning on technology to stay connected. Video calls, phone chats, and even text messages can be wonderful substitutes for in-person visits when you're feeling low on energy. A study from Stanford University highlights how virtual interactions can provide many of the same mental health benefits as face-to-face meetings, especially when they involve meaningful conversation. So if you're having a particularly tiring week, don't hesitate to reach out digitally. Trust me, your grandkids will light up just as much seeing your face on a screen as they would in person, and you won't have to worry about the physical demands of hosting or traveling. Of course, no discussion about overcoming challenges would be complete without addressing mindset. Many people assume that aging means slowing down, but research suggests the opposite can be true. Staying socially engaged, even in moderation, can have a profound impact on both mental and emotional well-being. In fact, a landmark study from Johns Hopkins University found that older adults who maintain active social lives are less likely to experience cognitive decline compared to those who withdraw from social activities altogether. The key takeaway here is that connection matters, but so does balance. By staying mindful of your limits and making intentional choices, you can create a social life that enriches your days without draining your energy. As we wrap up these final points, I want to leave you with a thought that has stayed with me throughout my own journey. Aging is not about losing your vitality. It's about redefining it. It's about learning to savor the moments that matter most and letting go of the ones that don't serve you. And speaking of serving yourself, let's move on to something empowering. A simple challenge you can start today to take charge of your social life and overall well-being. Stay tuned, because this last piece might just inspire you to make a change right now. As we bring this conversation to a close, I want to take a moment to reflect on everything we've covered. And trust me, there's a lot to feel good about. We've explored why pacing yourself during social visits is so important, how tuning into your body's signals can help you strike the perfect balance, and why small daily habits like mindfulness and nutrition can make such a big difference. We've also talked about overcoming common challenges, from managing guilt to embracing technology as a tool for connection. Through it all, one message has remained clear. Aging doesn't mean losing your zest for life. It means finding new ways to protect and nurture it. Let's recap some of the key takeaways in a way that feels actionable and inspiring. First, remember that quality trumps quantity when it comes to social interactions. It's not about how many events you attend or how many people you see. It's about creating meaningful moments that leave you feeling fulfilled rather than fatigued. Whether it's savoring a heartfelt conversation with a close friend or sharing a laugh with your grandkids over video chat, those deep connections are what truly matter. Second, don't underestimate the power of boundaries. Saying no isn't selfish. It's an act of self-care that allows you to show up fully for the people and activities you love most. And finally, never underestimate the impact of small changes. Adding just 10 minutes of mindfulness or swapping sugary snacks for nutrient-rich foods might seem minor, but these choices can add up to significant improvements in your energy and overall well-being. Now here's where I want to challenge you, and I mean really challenge you, to take one step today toward creating a more balanced social life. Maybe it's setting a boundary by politely declining an invitation that feels overwhelming. Maybe it's scheduling a quiet afternoon to recharge after a busy week. Or maybe it's reaching out to someone you care about, not because you feel obligated, but because you genuinely want to connect. Whatever you choose, make it something that aligns with your needs and values. And once you've done it, come back to the comments section and let me know which habit you decided to try first. I'd love to hear your thoughts and cheer you on as you take this step toward living your best life. Speaking of cheering you on, if you found this video helpful, I'd be so grateful if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribed for more tips on healthy aging. This channel is all about empowering you to thrive at any age, and your support helps us reach even more people who could benefit from these conversations. Plus, subscribing ensures you won't miss out on future videos packed with practical advice, real-life stories, and science-backed insights designed to help you live life to the fullest. Before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with one final thought. One that I hope will stay with you long after you've clicked away from this video. Aging is not a finish line, it's a journey. And like any great journey, it's filled with opportunities to learn, grow, and rediscover what makes life beautiful. Protecting your energy and prioritizing your well-being doesn't mean shutting yourself off from the world. It means opening yourself up to deeper, richer experiences. It means saying yes to the moments that matter and no to the ones that don't. It means taking charge of your health and happiness in a way that feels authentic and sustainable. So here's to you, to your resilience, your wisdom, and your unwavering ability to adapt and thrive. You've already proven that you have what it takes to navigate life's twists and turns, and I have no doubt that you'll continue to shine brightly in the years ahead. Whether it's hosting a cozy dinner with loved ones, enjoying a peaceful morning walk, or simply savoring a cup of tea in silence, every choice you make is a testament to your strength and grace. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'm honored to be part of your journey, and I can't wait to see how you put these ideas into action. Here's to living your best life at any age. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay connected in ways that nourish your soul, and never forget how truly remarkable you are.